Hey, what's up, Cool Like That peeps? It is me, your Cool Like That Asian, in the house. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hopefully, you guys are doing great out there. I am doing a video, a podcast, and it has been a while, people. And I'm going to tell you why. I've been having a lot of changes happening at work, my regular corporate job. A lot of changes has been happening, so it has been affecting a lot of how busy I am throughout the day, and it has been affecting a lot of how tired I am at the end of the day. Let's just be frank about it. And I kind of was thinking, oh man, is this podcast still going to happen? And you know what? It is, because I really want it to happen. Working in the corporate environment is great. It's a steady job, but the thing is, it's not fun. It's not always fun. So this makes it fun for me when I get to talk to people, when I get to express my ideas, get to tell you my day and how that is. So yeah, I'm going to keep this going, the podcast, and also my thoughts on it. So I've been changing quite a bit of the stuff that is on my pages, on my podcast channels, and all the social media stuff that you'll see out there. So hopefully you guys do rate, comment, and subscribe when you get the chance to, when you get to listen to the content, when you hear the podcast on your favorite podcast channel, wherever, Apple, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to these podcasts. So yeah, go ahead and add me on there, rate, comment what you guys want to hear. And, just let's be civil, because you know what? At this point, I have a different view than most of me. My husband and I have different views from each other, but also we have different views from the actual gay community that we encounter. And we notice that it's been quite hostile for me, to say the least, that people from our community, the LGBTQ community, has been very hostile at points where they either, one, they threaten, two, they pretty much kind of try to shame me about my point of view, and either send me DMs or something to make me feel bad about how I should feel. Or three, they just take me completely off their friends list and do not want nothing to do with me, or want nothing to do with me, basically. So that's what I've been encountering since my point of view has changed quite a bit since the pandemic has happened, since we made a decision regarding the vaccine, since we decided, I started to see certain things happening with the Democrats, the left, and why I left the Democrats about a little over a year ago. And if you guys haven't heard that story, check back at some of the podcasts previously. You'll hear my side of the story, why I left. But today I want to kind of talk about, I wanted to first off, wish everybody a happy Pride month. It is Hawaii Pride was yesterday, and there was the Pride parades. There was people hanging out and just being merry, I guess you can say. I saw a lot of weird stuff. I saw a lot of interesting stuff. I saw a lot of stuff that I just did not want to see, and I'll get that into it, and I'll maybe show some footage. I didn't go, but there, of course, now in this day and age, there are live feeds happening, so I get to see that run across my Facebook page. So I wanted to kind of show you some footage that I personally wasn't a big fan of, and I'll tell you why in just a few minutes. But the reason why I didn't go this year is because of the fact that you have a lot of people on the left, especially all these LGBT people on the left, really going after people who has a different point of view. A couple months ago, I remember talking about transgender issues and why we really need to kind of take into consideration people who change their mind right in the middle of transitioning, and they want to go back, we have to take that into consideration now. We have to take into consideration the fact that these children are maybe trying to find their identity, but they don't know their identity just yet. Maybe from a young age they start to know, but who knows? Maybe they might be a girl or a boy. Who knows? But we cannot just say, okay, we're going to transition them at a young age. And when I said that, I had a couple people just really came down hard on me and just really just went for the gusto. Then I had a different point of view regarding people at the border, and why we need to really take control of what's at the border, and send people back when they need to, and stuff like that. I've had people really come for me when it came to different points of views. I had people come for me regarding the abortion issue. And this is the one thing that I have a problem with, especially in our community, especially with the gay pride parades. First off, a couple of years ago, you guys had people saying, fuck Trump, or, stuff about Trump, and, trying to protest Trump in the gay pride parade, which I didn't have a problem with it at first because I was a Democrat and I was not seeing everything. And now that I get to see everything, I'm starting to see quite a bit of stuff that people on the left are getting very offended by, which is very crazy to me, is offended by just the littlest things. And it's just grotesque, if I got to say so myself. We just have to start to grow a backbone. What happened to the LGBT community that had a backbone, that really stood up for what is right and really thought about what is right? But when we talk about LGBT issues nowadays, they don't want to hear all sides. They don't want to hear one thing. They want all or nothing. And it's just interesting to me that we've come to a place where we cannot even see a different side or a different point of view. And when that happens, it's just people is not listening to each other. So I started to realize that even on the left, a lot of people tend to scream and shout and just want their point to be heard, but they do not listen. I noticed that some people on the right do hear that. They do listen, and they do hear quite a bit of the stuff that is happening. So when I started to do that, I started to not conform, but I started to listen a little bit more. I started to realize that there was quite a bit of people that is coming from our community that doesn't have our best interests at heart. And I started to realize that maybe they are not the right fit, or maybe they are not the right people to support at this point, because of the fact that they do not want to hear all sides. And on the Big Island, I remember hearing a story on the news about a drag queen putting together, I guess, a thing for the children, and family friendly day, kid friendly, and all that stuff. But they don't realize the backlash that they got was of their own doing. And they look at people look, and if I gotta say so myself, the right does their research. They do research quite a bit. So the left is not going to just get away with just saying, these commercialized talking points that they do on The View, or they do on all these other news stations that just say these sound bites and it goes viral all of a sudden. But if you really sit and listen and you start to understand what the right does, and granted, I'm not a Republican. I'm more independent, and I sway right in the middle of things. So when you hear and you see what the right does, they do their research. And that's what I started to notice. And you have to be really on top of what they are talking about. You have to be kind of 10 steps ahead of them. And that's what I started to notice. And, really, it starts to become interesting when you start to notice what they start to notice, right? You have to understand what their mindset is, right? And when what I mean by them doing the research, if you looked at the person who was responsible for that event on the Big Island, that person basically had, kind of weird stuff on their page, and stuff like humping a sex doll or dancing with a sex doll and all of that, and just having just different stuff like that. And their whole mindset was, we're not going to conform because we've always been conforming. Yes, unfortunately, as a community, we are the group that gets picked on quite a bit. And unfortunately, we've come a long way, but we have a lot more ways to go. But we have to do these things smart. We have to do these things that are not going to push people's buttons. We have to do these things that are not going to just use us as the guinea pigs or the scapegoats every single time an election year comes by. Because if you notice, every single year, either the black community or the gay community or the LGBT community, or these groups will always be picked on, or they're going to be always focused in on. And if you notice this year, it is people who are either homeless or people who are, down on their luck because of the pandemic. After the last 2 years, people have been very down on their luck, and they haven't been given the encouragement to get back on their feet, to get back to what they're supposed to be right before the pandemic, because people are relying on the government to save them. And I just hate to say that. Not all people are going to be like that, so don't get me wrong. But a lot of people, if they start to get free handouts, they start to get used to that, and it's crazy to me. So I'm going off on a tangent here. So I want to get back to the LGBT stuff. I did not go because of the fact that I have different views than the LGBT community. And I know there's not all LGBT are going to be Democrats. They're not. But we have to start to, people who are on the right or independents need to start to stand up and say what they feel, because if they don't, I'm sorry, the left is famous for this. They will walk all over you. And I cannot say that enough. I cannot. And it is going to be our fault if we do not stand up. And that's the reason why I always will talk, and I will always voice my opinion. And people think that I should just shut up. I got threatened for that, for not backing down, So I'm not going to be afraid of anybody. I've never been afraid in my life. Never been, so I'm not going to be afraid to say my piece and say it with conviction and make sure that people understand that I have a different view than you guys, and the reason why I changed, if people are wondering and doesn't want to go back, is because of the fact that I was forced. I may have been forced. I'm not going to, let me step back a bit. If they were going to force me, to take the vaccine, like a lot of these places were, that would have been something that would have crushed me. And it was something that we had to decide whether or not we were going to take it or not. So, fortunately, it worked out in our favor. We didn't have to. We weren't forced to. And you can see now what's happening in all over the world. People are just dropping like flies. And I just hate to say it like that. And people are tending to say, it's not the same. It's not the same. You've never seen a whole group of famous people actually dropping like flies like that. Let's just be real. Okay, so I'm just going to put it out there. But it's just crazy to me that we don't want to. We just want to take the easy way out. And being on the left, if you're on the left, I really encourage you guys to really listen in and listen with the same way you want the right or people that are in the middle to listen to you. Okay, we don't do well with screaming. We do not do well with lies. We do not do well with people who will try to argue their point. Come with facts and come with some type of nothing that is going to be in the news. Come with facts that are the news will not talk about. Because if you notice, the media is famous for this, and they will give you talking points. And if you play back some of Donald Trump's speech, if you play back some of the Republican speeches, you can see for a fact that a lot of times the narrative that the media is spewing out in the open is not really what they're talking about. And it's really sad. One movie that I just saw, a documentary that I just saw, is Candace Owens. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of it. Let me hold on one second. Let me just look it up real quick. Because Candace Owens did a documentary about exposing the Black Lives Matters movement and the people behind it and where the money is going and all that stuff. And I'll probably do a review of it, which is great. It's a great documentary. I think everybody should watch it and kind of form your own opinion on it. Because I feel I was actually about to, donate at one point to that cause, but I said, you know what, let me wait on this, because I realized that there wasn't too much of what was happening on that show. It's called Greatest Lie Ever Told, Ever Sold, excuse me, and you'll see it there. It goes over the George Floyd incident, where people didn't see the part where he had drugs in his system, or, they really didn't talk about that and really talk about some of the stuff that caused some of these things. And the media really shook everybody up and really shook these places. But if we talk about, where the money went from the Black Lives Matters movement, it didn't go back to the community that George Floyd really died in. That place looks like a dump. I hate to say it, and I'm sorry to say to those people that live there. But it's just amazing to me. People are not trying to ask, can we have some money so we can rebuild this place? So it's amazing to me. So I really encourage people on the left, the LGBT community, don't just hear these sound bites or don't just repeat these sound bites. If you're going to talk to someone on the right or someone that is seeing something different and you want to support them too, you have to come with something that the media is not showing out in the public, if you know what I mean. The cable news, ABC, NBC, all those, CNN, even Fox, don't just repeat what you hear on there. Do your own research. That's what they've been telling you. That's what they told me. And I really didn't listen until, about a year and a half ago. It's important that we do that. And it's important that we start to see that. There was also one thing that I really didn't like when doing this gay pride thing. And I should cover this. I'm going to show you some footage. on the video, but I'm going to also put the gay pride stuff. It's about these people.
HSTA represents and supports 13,500 public school K-12 teachers across Hawaii.
Actually, in the Pride Parade here in Hawaii, a group of women just yelling, abortions illegal for everyone. And I'm like, how does that factor into the LGBT community? And I want somebody to really tell me that. I really want somebody to tell me that, because even 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, actually, because when Trump started to become, went into office, there was fuck Trump and all of those signs. I really think people who are doing these parades really need to, put rules down. No political stuff. No thing, nothing to do with abortions or anything that could be found, that could piss people off on the roads and get somebody hurt. Those things. But I think we just let anybody and everything, and that is the reason why our pride flag looks ugly as hell. And I'm just going to be honest about that. It's ugly. So we just want to cram everything in. And I thought the rainbow flag encompassed everybody. It encompassed all the communities. But we've been so focused in on making everyone happy. And, we forgot the real meaning of gay pride. We forgot the real meaning of truly being gay and happy, and the sense of community and family. We forgot that. So it's just amazing to me that we've come to this, and we need to really, people in the middle and on the right, and some Democrats who are still lifelong Democrats, we really need to stand up, especially if we have a different point of view, because we cannot let people who are just seeing these sound bites or seeing these things happen in the news just take over. We really need to stand up and just really firmly say our piece and say it loud and proud when it happens. So that's my piece for today. And I know it's going to be about a 30-minute video, but I really thank you guys so much for sticking with me. And I'm going to do more videos like this soon. I'm going to actually do a couple of videos and podcast stuff over the next couple of days to kind of get me just, through the end of the year. Take a little break again, and then full force next year. But I really want to make sure that my voice gets heard and my husband's voice gets heard. So you might see him come in from time to time to, give his piece. And I really feel that he has an important voice. And, I do want to talk to him about his music and how he came about. And some of the music I inspired him. So I really want you guys to hear that and kind of, just check it out. So please rate, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys all later. Stay cool. And I love you guys. Have a good day. Bye. Oh my